a path forward with triple bottom line economics. So, first of all, I wanted to define that term because triple bottom line economics is essentially ecological capitalism, as I like to think about it. Now, that is people, planet, and profit. First of all, you have to have your profit because otherwise you don't have anything to reinvest back into yourself and into others. You have nothing to give and you have nothing to have. And then you need to be able to take care of your employees so you can actually maintain that and we can actually have a functioning society. And then we also need to maintain a healthy environment and a healthy ecosystem in which we're deriving our resources from or operating in, just to have a functioning environment for current and future generations. So first of all, we have to recognize what society is and what it does for us, because basically we're born not completely but almost as blank slates, more so than any other animal in nature. So part of that allows us the ability to not be as predetermined but as more programmable by society. Now that has utility and detriment. It allows us to, for each generation, to adapt much faster, to change that way, but at the same time it allows society to corrupt the individual quite easily. So we have to recognize where to draw those lines and how to properly enforce the individual. Now, as far as economically, we have to look at the utilities that our economic system gives us and why we have an economic system. First of all, we have money because it's easier to exchange than constantly trading all the time, because not everybody values what you have to trade. Basic currency, and the currency is only there for what we give it. But right now our economic system isn't built up in a way that's actually helping us right now, and we can't just throw it away because look at Black Friday. People go in there and people died fighting for a TV. So what about something that actually matters? When people aren't getting what they want, you see extreme behavior from people. And right now, society is that utility and that function that is giving people what they need, or what they perceive that they need in their life. And if we take that away, then everything starts to fall apart and we start to see a de-evolution of behavior into what most people consider unacceptable behavior. There's a bottleneck going on right now because society is both expanding because it's creating new bubbles, but also those bubbles are going to burst and then we're going to have a backlash. And that's the problem with our runaway markets that we have right now, because our markets basically right now, they're only money driven, and when they're only profit driven, they only have one thing telling them what to do, and it's not being balanced by other factors. So when the dollar says, or your profit line says that you need to exploit workers, they do it. When they say they need to use harmful chemicals, they do it. When they need to break the law, they do it, because they have a fiduciary responsibility to their stakeholders. And that's the key thing that we have a problem with in the corporate institution as it exists today. Now, I am pro-business because we actually need to have institutions that function as services in societies that service the people who operate it and the people who, choose to interact with it. But at the same time, as our corporations are externalizing losses into the greater society, and then they're internalizing the profit. And the problem is that, it's consolidating wealth at the same time that it's exacerbating our ecological problems. Now, we have to recognize that to get there, we have to start building the new ship. We have to start building this new economy as this old economy is breaking down, because we can't just burn the ship we're on before we have a new ship to go to. We have to start building the new ship, and we can't just do it overnight. We can't just build the new economy overnight. Now, I love the idea of a Green New Deal and such like this, and yeah, if we could do that and mobilize the entire country in a World War II warlike effort to mobilize the entire economy into a new way, yeah, that is possible. But that requires a lot of calcified minds to shift their perspective. They have to be able to take in new things, and right now people are not very open to new ideas and to shifting the way they think about the world or how to interact with solutions in the world. in the process of building this new ship, we need to recognize that we're going to have to build new ways of accounting for nutrients and actually making them, putting a financial value on them. Because right now, the only thing that's had financial value on things is its commodity. It's only worth what it can be sold as, rather than having a utility of what it's actually worth in the business to make it function. Now, some people are doing this kind of math with saying, oh, I have X amount of resources in my land, I have this many acres, I have X amount of calcium over these many acres, and this is how much it would be to amend that. So once you're calculating how much it would be to replace that, well, then it starts to be worth a lot more than if you're valuing it by what it could be sold as. So if we start accounting that way, and we start thinking about the world in that way, and start looking at resources in our environment as being innate value by where they are in their current capacity is valuable already, and looking that as a financial number, I think that's going to be very valuable as we start to evolve this system to properly value nature. We're going to see that we're going to be able to start to better evaluate the differences between those things, and to say, all right, what is this value really in a planetary sense, or in an ecological sense, or in a employee sense? How is this going to affect our customers? Because we know it's going to make us money, but we have to ask all these other questions too, and recognize that this is all a feedback loop that serves into not just who we are as people, but who we are as a business, and trying to get things done. So right now, our economic system works that banks create money, and the Federal Reserve creates the majority of the money, but anytime a loan's created, money is created as well. Now, the value for all of that money comes out of the value we put into the economy. It would be nice, as we build this new economy, to see rent seekers, the people who are loaning out money and creating money and actually not creating value in the system, actually be making less profit incentive than the people who are actually creating value in the system, like the farmers and the other tradesmen and such like that, who are actually working and creating and building stuff every day that makes our society function. Now, we obviously need banks, but for right now, they're getting too much money for the utility they're providing. And it would be nice to see a balance set in how we build our economy going forward. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I hope this enlightened you into some of what I'm thinking, because I would like to move forward and make a better society for everybody.